Good morning and welcome back to Apron Strings. And I'm getting ready for the fall. Got my pumpkins on. I love this time of the year. It's my favorite season. It makes you go whew, and rest a little bit. Kind of like the leaves falling. To me it's just a peaceful season. If it'll just cool off a little bit. It's still too hot to be fall. I decided to make a casserole today. And it's a tater tot casserole. And I've already got a couple of just little medium-sized onions that I chopped. I did one yellow and one white. And I've got them just sweating down in the skillet. And I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of bell pepper and 1/4 of a cup of celery. And I already have it chopped, and I'm fixing to get it in the skillet. And then I'm going to tell you about the tater tots. Now I've got my tater tots on a baking sheet, and what I did, I don't want to fry them because that just makes them a whole lot more fattening. So I sprayed them with some cooking spray, and that'll help them to crisp in the oven. I just sprayed them and got my hands in there and shuffled them all around and sprayed them another time or two. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of my onion and garlic powder on them. And well, let me get the camera down. I'm just going to sprinkle just a little onion and garlic powder on them, because I want them to have a little bit of flavoring on them going into the casserole. Not a lot. And then I'll shuffle this around a little bit too, where maybe it'll get on everything. But that little bit of cooking spray that I put on them is going to help some of that seasoning to stick a little bit too. Okay, I'm going to get those into the oven, and I've got my meat in here on top of my vegetables that have sweated down. The onions are clear, and I'm just going to let this meat brown. I'm going to stir it up. I didn't season it yet. I will season all of this in a minute with some more onion and garlic powder. Well, I haven't put any in here yet. I'll season this with onion and garlic powder and a little salt and black pepper. But I don't put a lot of salt because this recipe has some cream of mushroom soup in it, and that will be a little bit salty. So I'll get my meat browned off, and I'll bring y'all back and we'll get it all assembled, and I'll give you the recipe. Okay, my meat has browned down, and I used some Thrive dried mushrooms because I didn't have any fresh ones, and so I added them in so they could start refreshing in the juices from the meat and vegetables. Now, generally I use a seeded jalapeno. Today I'm going to use some of my Thrive green chilies, just to give it a little kick. I've got about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, teaspoon and a half of granulated garlic, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of onion powder. I have 1 huge clove of garlic that I minced with my garlic press. Now I'm just going to let all this season the meat and vegetables that are in here. Try to get that garlic dispersed around. I ever had this casserole. My son was dating the girl that he's married to now, Terry. And she had us over for supper one evening, and she made tater tot casserole, and I had never had it. And she don't put all the extra stuff in it that I do. But my basic recipe came from my sweet daughter-in-law, who is an awesome cook. And she knows that my husband likes this, so when he goes up there to visit him, sometimes he'll go work with my son, and I don't go with him. She usually makes Bapal a tater tot casserole. Spoils him a little bit. But I'm thankful for the recipe, Terry. I appreciate you sharing all those years ago. It's been probably, what, 20 years? It's been a while. So I'm going to let my flavors blend here a little bit. And then you add a can of cream of mushroom soup in. And I'm going to add a drained can of Rotel tomatoes into mine. Partly for the flavor, partly for the color. I like it to look colorful and pretty. Now my husband said if he was going down a food line, and he saw something with all those colors in it, he'd pass it by for the plain. But if I was going down the buffet line or whatever, and they had something with all kinds of stuff in it, you better know that's the one I'd get. And I'd try to figure out what they had in there so I could duplicate it. But he eats whatever I fix. He's a good sport. Okay, let me... Now, while I was waiting for everything to get ready, I grated a couple of cups of Kobe Jack cheese, because you have to have some cheese in it. I'm going to let this heat through. I'm going to taste it and make sure I've got my seasonings right. Enough salt, because that cream of mushroom has some salt in it. And I didn't want to get it too salty. That's yummy. That would be good on a toasted hamburger bun, just for like a sloppy joe without all the tomato sauce in it. That's very good. Let it heat a little bit and then we'll get it all put back together in the casserole pan. Okay, y'all, I've got a little bit of meat in the bottom of my pan, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese on the meat. And then I'll add some tater tots. So if you've got a meat and taters guy, this is a good dish for them. This and a salad, and you've got a good meal. Okay, I'm going to go over here and get me some more of the meat mixture. And you know, I don't care if I don't use all that meat. I can, like I said, make some sandwiches on some hamburger buns with it. Or I could cook some cabbage down. Just wilt some cabbage down in some seasoning and add this to it. Fried cabbage is good stuff. Just a dab more, but I'm not going to have any meat left. That's obvious, I can see. A little cheese in there, just a binder. Then I'm going to put some more tater tots. And then I'll just sprinkle this little dab of meat that's left around. There's not enough for a whole meat layer on the top. Now I'll put the rest of the cheese in. I think I'm going to have to grate me a little bit more cheese. Okay, I got the cheese on it. I did about another half a cup of cheese. I'm going to get it into a 350-degree oven until the cheese is kind of melted and browny looking, and I'll bring it out and show you what it looks like. Then we're going to have this for lunch. Okay, y'all, here's the casserole. The cheese is melted. It's bubbling. You can see some of the meat and the tater tots. And I'm fixing to dish some up. I'll show you what our plate's going to look like. And then I'll start thinking of what I'm going to cook tomorrow. Okay, here's our plate. I have a green salad, some pinto beans. That's the pinto bean soup that I cooked a day or two ago. We had some leftovers, so I used it. And the tater tot casserole. So I hope that y'all have learned a new recipe or remembered an old one that you hadn't made in a while. Tater tot casserole is good. You know, we've always liked tater tots at our house. Do y'all remember the days of the CB radios? That was many, many years ago. Well, we had one. And all of us had our handle. And our son was just a little fella, probably, I don't know, 2 years old. He was the Tater Tot. That was his CB handle. So our love with tater tots goes way back. Anyway, this is Sunday, and this is our Sunday dinner, and we're fixing to sit down and eat. Went to Sunday school this morning, and if I'd have gone with no hope, I would have left with hope. Our pastor preached, help is on the way. It doesn't matter what our situation in life is. It doesn't matter what our circumstances. It doesn't matter what's happened to us. It doesn't matter what our past is. Through the blood of Jesus, help is on the way. And we can turn our life around. We can put yesterday behind us, and we can march forward with hope. Hope y'all find a place to give the Lord some praise today. Thank Him for what He's done for you. I'm so blessed to know Jesus and to have been taught the things I've been taught in my lifetime. Yeah, I'm a little teary today. It's Sunday and it's His day. And I want Him to know I love Him and I'm grateful. If y'all don't agree with me, that's your privilege. You can do that. But for those that do agree, aren't you glad you know Him? Y'all have a blessed day. Come back here tomorrow and we're going to have another good recipe. Now the Lord bless and keep you.